Let's talk about Badfinger and about how you can actually be the next big thing and still end up as a what if. Badfinger, then called the Ivies, were the first non-Beatles group signed to Apple Records. Paul McCartney wrote and produced their breakthrough, Come and Get It. He also produced two originals written by band members Tom Evans and Pete Ham, Rock of All Ages and Carry On Till Tomorrow. George Harrison produced their song Day After Day. They also played on All Things Must Pass, as well as performing at the concert for Bangladesh. Harry Nilsson and then later on Mariah Carey had a worldwide hit with their song Without You. At the same time, Apple Records is imploding. The Beatles are in the process of breaking up. Alan Klein is being Alan Klein, and a publishing dispute spearheaded by the band's manager Stan Pauly resulted in their final album for Apple, called Ass, being delayed for months. Speaking of Stan Pauly, under the management contract that they signed, the band was put on salary, with the rest of their earnings going into a holding company that was controlled by Stan Pauly. You can kind of guess how that's going to end. Badfinger next signed a deal with Warner Brothers, negotiated by Stan Pauly, that required them to release 2 albums a year for the next 3 years. Because of the previously mentioned publishing dispute, their final album with Apple and their first album with Warner Brothers came out almost simultaneously. Warner Brothers then grew suspicious of Stan Pauly after he failed to deposit an agreed upon sum into a mutually accessible escrow account. Badfinger's album Wish You Were Here was pulled from shelves after just 7 weeks. So they're cranking out records, but some are in purgatory, some are actively cannibalizing each other, and none seem to be making the band any money. And in March 1975, their salary checks don't clear. They can't get a hold of Pauly. He'd taken the rest of their money and bounced. And because of their restrictive management contract terms, they can't continue without him. Later in 1975, Pete Ham took his own life. The note that he left specifically mentioned Stan Pauly. Shortly thereafter, the group dissolved. They regrouped, dissolved again. Money disputes continued to linger, and in 1983, Tom Evans also passed by suicide. 2 primary songwriters, 2 great songwriters, just gone. There's an alternate timeline out there where Badfinger became the arena staples that they should have been. They had the songs, they had the backing of some of the most powerful musicians on earth. But man, it is hard to overcome a combination of bad timing and snakes in the grass. Success requires talent, yes, but it also requires an element of protection. And when that protection fails, or when it's never put in place to begin with, time and again we have seen there is no safety net. And the tragedy of lost life is compounded by the fact that it ever got to that point to begin with. If you have any other music history side streets you'd like me to go down, let me know in the comments.